I'm the GM of contact center for Zendesk. It was interesting, Jay backstage was saying, I know the brand Zendesk. I think I used it in college in a side job. I didn't know that they did anything in contact center, which is great, which is why I'm here. And I'm delighted to tell you about the business that I run. It was a result of an acquisition earlier in the year of my company, which was Local Measure. We've now built that platform natively into Zendesk, and that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. But actually, I'm not going to talk about myself first. We are going to talk a little bit about what we think the future of contact center looks like. I'm out with customers every day, and we also spoke to about 1,000 customers to synthesize some of their worries. Some of them cried in the corner when they spoke to us about the future of contact center. And we synthesized it down to 5 trends and things that you might want to think about. This was a quote from one of our customers who runs a healthcare business, which I think summed up the Zendesk view of where things are going. Digital agents, human agents, and all of these channels working seamlessly together to deliver a great customer experience. It sounds simple, but I think probably like all of you are feeling this technology change is probably the fastest that I've certainly ever seen in my career. I remember the dot-com boom. I remember the social mobile trend, which was going to take over the world. And each of those technology trends impacted the way that we work. The impact, I think, on service from AI is possibly the fastest. I'm fortunate to be in a business within Zendesk that we believe is has the biggest AI footprint of any vendor globally, with 20,000 customers live in production using our AI services. Our CEO on Bloomberg yesterday said that's a $200 million run rate. So this isn't tech that's in the lab. This isn't things that are happening on POCs and trials. This is in the real world, impacting your customers, taking cost out of your business. I'm that excited, I'm throwing the clicker around. What some of these customers told us is, as service is getting better, particularly on voice, they're seeing more volume. Nicholas and I have a bet who's in the audience. I bet with him that in 2 years' time, 20% of all of the service automation that comes over voice all the service calls will be automated. Our customers tell us 50%. We're clearly not there yet on voice. On digital channels, we have customers seeing 50, 60, 70, 80% automation. Voice has taken a little bit longer because the quality hasn't quite been there. But it's really interesting to see our customers are telling us they believe over the next 2 to 3 years, 50% will be fully automated. And there's a mandate from the board and there's pressure coming down to AI it, as one customer told me. And I asked them, what does AI it mean? And they said, well, the board told us to add AI. So I think some of the metrics and the reasons are still being unpacked. For us, it's all about driving a resolution, driving an outcome for the customers that delivers value. We're maniacally focused on resolution as the unit of measurement to make sure that customers are having their issues resolved. And we're actually even charging customers for our own services based on resolution, because we believe that when you deliver an outcome for a customer, that delivers the most value back to the business. I think one thing that is abundantly clear is the old model of running a contact center is slowly dying. And we have to reimagine the ways of working. We have to reimagine the way we staff contact centers. We have to reimagine the ways that we show up for customers in the channels. One, I think, big inhibitor that we saw was, particularly for voice and voice AI, was that customers felt that the quality hasn't historically been there with chatbots and AI interactions. We've all had experiences of talking to a bot that hasn't understood us and going around and around in endless loops. One of my solutions consultants said to me, in my Australian accent, Australians use 30 different variants for yes, and that's ya and yes. And I think if you don't program that in many of the bots the right way, you have a bot that doesn't understand you, and it becomes an incredibly frustrating experience with these deterministic bots. What's really cool with the new version of AI bots is that they can understand the context and route you the right way. And therefore, what customers are telling us is they're finally comfortable with a level of quality on AI. And we're seeing now finally a mass adoption in the contact center space. So without further ado, we tried to summarize what was 1,000 different perspectives from contact center leaders. I mean, you ask one contact center leader for one opinion and they give you 5. We try to bring it together into sort of 5 core themes, which also align to, I think, very nicely to what Zendesk thinks is happening in voice and around the contact center. The first kind of conviction we have is that all interactions in the contact center are going to begin with AI. The idea of routing, the idea of IVRs is sort of a legacy concept. And essentially the AI becomes the concierge and the front door for your organization. And so what that means is then we need to sort of skill our contact centers in a different way. Those level 100, level 200 agents become the AI, and we shift the human agents to level 300 and level 400, the more complex tasks. The challenge we have is in assessing the ROIs. All of our metrics are currently broken, which we'll get to in a moment. Our CTO joked yesterday, I mean, what is the use of an average speed to answer when an AI can answer in 100 or 200 milliseconds? So we have to reimagine what we're tracking and why we're tracking. But our house view is that there'll be no press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, or shouting agent into the phone. Like, the AI will start, will understand the context, will self-serve and execute procedures where it can, and will route to the right human at the right time. The second prediction that we have, just like that average speed to answer concept goes away, we think hold times vanish as well. I was at a breakfast yesterday where the person next to me said they're actually calling a lot more frequently into their favorite brand because the call gets picked up instantly. And so I think we have this perverse impact where people don't pick up the phone or don't call a brand because they know the experience is so shitty. And in the future, as the quality of service improves, as AI is fronting some of these calls, we see a renaissance of interactions with brands, and we think that's a good thing. But as level 1 and level 200 work, the easy stuff gets automated, we see the average handle time starting to increase because it's the complex pieces of work that hits humans. So again, our perspective on the contact center and the value that it's driving needs to fundamentally shift as we drive up the voice volume. And that's necessarily a good thing because we think that speaking to your customers, solving their issues, resolving their issues, and also giving our agents time to upsell, to cross-sell, to actually properly service customers delivers fundamental value to the business. Going back to the quality conversation, there was a clear view from our customers and those we surveyed that the satisfaction ultimately will be higher from AI-only interactions. What we heard from the leaders was ultimately customers won't care whether they're speaking to an AI or a human, so long as their issues are resolved. And so I would say as long as the quality is there, we also agree that the satisfaction will be higher. And we're doing a lot of work around voice AI, executing procedures, self-serve, making the interactions feel really natural to make sure we get to this outcome. I think that one of the biggest shifts in the contact center is the definition of the roles fundamentally shifts. So I shared level 100 and 200 we believe goes away and is replaced by automation. Level 200 and level 300 we believe become what we call VIP agents. And then the question comes, what happens with the workforce planners, with the folks who design the IVRs, what happens with the quality managers, what happens with the schedulers and the outbound agents, and the list goes on, what happens with all of these folks. We think sort of a new role in the contact center is born, and this is what customers told us, of something that we're coining the AI service architect. These are the folks that are deeply thinking about prompts, that are thinking about correcting AI, that are thinking about kind of managing the cockpits of human and digital workers working together in symbiosis, and essentially like a higher order of thinking as the orchestrator in the contact center. What's interesting in the Zendesk platform is because we've got so much case data and we've got such a legacy of understanding what customers call in and message about, we're actually able to use that now to interrogate the knowledge base of the customer, having 40 or 50,000 customers using knowledge bases on Zendesk, to look at gaps in their knowledge base and automatically generate new knowledge articles based on the case history. And then those new articles are reviewed by humans or these AI service architects, and then get fed into the AI to then drive more self-service, and that resolution loop continues going round and round. So we think this title, Watch LinkedIn, over the next year or two, we predict the AI service architect is going to be a role for the future that's going to be incredibly important. But then how do we measure all of this stuff? Because if we've said average handle time is broken, the speed to answer is going to be milliseconds. And I think most people that I polled yesterday, and in fact the 1,000 customers we spoke to, all had varying degrees of abuse and disgust at CSAT. So what's left? How do we figure out whether our contact center is operating as it should and delighting our customers? We think that feedback is going to evolve from being something that happens after a call or after an interaction to an always-on discipline, where you're taking signals from sentiment, you're taking signals from whether the outcome was resolved for the customer, you're listening to the tonality of the voice, the pace of speech, the emotion, and essentially coming up with new ways to track ultimately to make sure we've resolved the issue or we've driven repeat business or upsell from that particular customer. I come from the hospitality world. That was my previous role before being in the contact center industry. And it always amazed me that the unit of measure in the hotel was that you would send a guest an email a week or two after they checked out, and you would ask a question, would you recommend this to a friend, or how was your stay? The issue with that is it's typically 2 weeks too late. They've forgotten about the experience, or it's looking in the rearview mirror. The best measurements happen in the moment. And so we think now, using AI, we have a real opportunity to understand the nuances, the language, and the reasons for the call, and build up new dashboards and insights to understand the customer. We recently acquired a company called Hyperarch, which is a digital insight, almost like a data analyst in your pocket. That's not the official brand term. I'll probably get told off from our PR team for saying that. But essentially what that platform does, it ingests all of the data from all of the products across Zendesk and allows you in natural language to interrogate that data. So it could be, why did my call volume spike last Wednesday at 2 p.m.? And you can actually drill all the way down to the ticket in Zendesk or get the higher order thinking and insight. And it's got a concept of memories. So every time you interrogate the platform, it uses a memory from the questions that you asked it preceding, just like a human would. And so over time, this platform, Hyperarch, gets smarter and smarter, and we sort of view that as the future of navigation, the future of really understanding deeply the contact center. But I started this talk saying that the customers we speak to and the customers we interviewed feel like they're on a plane, driving the plane, changing the tires, and kind of refueling all in one go, because there's so much change in their world. They sort of don't know even where to start. And what we've seen and what we've understood from our customers, the ones that are most successful, take really discrete use cases or micro moments and reimagine them for an AI-first world, implement them, A/B test, have a look at the outcome, and then they continue to roll those out. And so our most successful customers start small and continue to grow and test and learn and treat it, every interaction as a learning experience. It's still remarkable to me that some of our contact center clients might have 1,000 agents, 50 of whom will give out incorrect information all day long, every day. And that's just viewed as par for course in the contact center. But as soon as a digital agent gives one incorrect answer, it's sort of code red issue. And I think we're starting to get over that. But I think until we've got a spirit of innovation and a want to try and test within the contact center with AI, I don't think we're going to progress as fast as other disciplines of technology. So I've given you a little bit of a high overview of what we see coming in the market. I think the question that Jay asked me backstage from his college days, well, the gremlins of the slides, his college days is, why is Zendesk talking about contact center? So we announced the general availability of Zendesk Contact Center, which is a fully native, scalable, resilient voice platform that we believe can go toe-to-toe with the best in the market, that is fully embedded and native within Zendesk, so that you can actually have all of your communication in one place and orchestrate your AI, your journeys, your quality management, all in one place across all channels. Our voice channel is in partnership with Amazon Connect. I don't know how the slides keep changing. It must be very tired as well on a Wednesday. But AI and some of the voice capabilities are in partnership with Amazon Connect. We were very fortunate to be announced as the Global CX Partner of the Year earlier in the week. So Zendesk obviously being the case management, the quality, a single platform without middleware, and AWS providing us world-class telephony, resilience, AI routing, and rich data and context for our contact center platform. And essentially, we sort of center and focus on 4 key value props for our customers. AI that's built in. It's interesting, some of the contact center platforms that are viewed as quite modern, the SaaS platforms, are already coming on 10, 15 years of age. The Zendesk contact center platform, being a year old, was sort of born in an AI era and born for an AI first architecture. So we're not sort of bolting on third-party bots or third-party AI because it's built into the platform. We provide support for the entire platform. And as I said from the resolution learning loop, because your calls, because your tickets, because your cases are in one platform, we can learn from those, train the AI, and obviously you get a really nice loop, a resolution learning loop that closes the loop with the AI to make the human agents more efficient and superhuman, and makes the AI smarter and smarter throughout the process. Ultimately, what we see is a customer should be able to contact you on their own terms, on their channel of choice. So they might start on digital messaging, they might get cut off going into the car park, that might trigger an outbound call from Zendesk to the customer, and if you can't get through, the AI then might leave a message on the voicemail and it continue in an in-app experience. Ultimately, a really seamless, frictional journey, orchestrated with one set of AI, automated in one platform, which is Zendesk. We already have customers where we're seeing significant value. This was for a fast food chain where the after-call work went down by about 5 minutes and the average handle time was down by about 50%. And so that's happening because we've got AI concierge up front. When the calls actually land with human agents, we're supporting them with co-pilots. A lot of the after-call work is automated from intelligent triage, from sentiment, and from the routing and follow-up. So we're driving tangible results, and we want to focus on those resolutions and the outcomes for customers and focus on driving those rather than sort of dwelling on some of the metrics that no longer matter within the contact center. So thank you very much for your time and your attention. The Zendesk booth and some of my very intelligent colleagues are down there at the end. It's in green. We can actually buy Zendesk Contact Center on the AWS Marketplace. And obviously that draws down against your PPA and your EDP. And it's all hosted on AWS as well. So we're really excited to have won the award. We've been really excited by the momentum and the partnership with Amazon Connect. Delighted to have a number of our partners globally in the audience. Thank you very much for your time and enjoy reInvent. Hopefully we survive 2 more days. Thank you very much.